Chapter 31 How to Tell Mom. Fang Qingyan really couldn't help it. She walked forward and slapped him, the crisp sound of the slap echoing in the room. Are you confused? Can you talk properly now? Fang Jidi covered her face and looked at Fang Qingyan in shock. You hit me. Fang Jinglei covered her mouth and was also frightened. Fang Qingyan had never been so angry with anyone in her family. As for hitting someone, it was the first time. Fang Qingyan cursed with a gloomy face. I've told you several times that I called you here to discuss how to tell our mother about this. I'm not here to discuss Fang Ping'an with you. I've been pissed off to death about this. You have to talk so much nonsense. You're studying law, but you don't even know who you are from the same mother as. If you still can't see the situation clearly and bring up random topics, get out. Fang Jidi covered her face and glared at Fang Qingyan. I won't leave. Fang Qingyan was too lazy to pay attention to her. You can stay if you want to, or you can choose not to participate. She turned to Fang Jinglei and said, Jinglei, this cannot be discussed at home. No matter what, I can only call my mother out and talk outside like we did today. If this matter is exposed in front of Dad and Hongjun, I am afraid that she will directly conflict with Dad, and then there will be no way to resolve it. Fang Jinglei came over and wanted to hug Fang Jidi, but she pushed her away. How can I tell Mom? She sighed softly. My husband, whom I have loved for more than 20 years, has been keeping a mistress outside for 20 years. Can she bear it? I'm worried about her health. Fang Qingyan gritted her teeth and said, I must tell Mom about this. Moreover, she must be told before Fang Hongjun's coming-of-age ceremony. Fang Jidi poured herself a glass of wine, picked it up and drank it sip by sip, standing aside with a cold face, not saying a word. Fang Jinglei got up and went to the bathroom, wet a towel and handed it to her. Cover yourself up for a while, or you can stay here instead of going home tonight. Fang Jidi took the towel, put it on her face and said nothing. Fang Jinglei turned around, walked over, put the appraisal report away and put it aside. Mom is still organizing Fang Hongjun's coming-of-age party, but I know the invitations haven't been sent out yet, so it should still be in time. Otherwise today. Big sister, go home now and pick up Mom. Fang Jidi snorted. Fang Qingyan thought for a moment and said, Okay, I'll go get Mom. You can book a bigger suite. Mom probably won't be back tonight. If you are going to do it, you must be prepared. No matter what, the one who was hurt the most in this matter was my mother. What? Fang Ping'an ran to Ping'an Driving School and signed up for a class. As a result, he was notified on the day of registration that he had to stand on the street early the next morning. The intersection he was assigned to was very far from his home, which made him very depressed. Fortunately, it's only one day. He had a full meal at his own restaurant early in the morning and took the bus to the street stand, wearing a small red vest and holding a small red flag in her hand. Like a fool. Fortunately, the traffic police at that intersection was a pretty female police officer. After making arrangements for the four of them, she did not make any additional requests. He would take a break when he got tired of standing and could hide in the shade when it was too sunny. The most important thing is to keep an eye on people walking on the sidewalk in the wrong direction and riding electric donkeys. Another thing is to stop at a red light on the sidewalk. Let go when the light turns green. It's a very simple thing, not complicated at all. What he didn't know was that, as he was standing at the intersection, in room 608 of the Kempinski Hotel in the same district as him, something that he had long expected was happening. Zhao Wei was at home arranging outfits for the whole family for Fang Hongjun's coming-of-age party. Although the invitations have been prepared, they have not yet been sent out. All she had to do today was decide on her outfit and banquet. Originally, these things could have been handed over to someone in the company, but she insisted on taking charge of them herself. This is Hongjun's coming-of-age party. She has raised him for 18 years, and she absolutely cannot tolerate any mistakes. At that time, not only will the Fang family lose face, but Hongjun will also be sad. It's so brainless. When Fang Qingyan was driving her sports car all the way home, she saw Zhao Wei selecting clothing styles and jewelry combinations on her tablet. Hey Yanyan, why are you back at this time? Isn't the company busy? Zhao Wei looked surprised and asked, looking at her sideways. Fang Qingyan walked over quickly, took Zhao Wei's hand and said, Mom, there's something urgent, you have to come with me. Zhao Wei calmly put down what she was holding and spoke calmly. What's the big deal that requires me to go with you? You look like something very serious has happened. Fang Qingyan smiled bitterly and said, It is indeed a big deal, and you must decide it yourself. Jinglei and I are at our wits' end. Zhao Wei was stunned for a moment, Did Hongjian cause trouble outside? Can't you handle it too? So why don't you give your dad a call? Fang Qingyan shook her head and said, Mom, let's go. Jinglei and Jidi are waiting at the hotel. It's really urgent, so don't delay. You can choose these things after you come back. Zhao Wei took a closer look at Fang Qingyan's expression while holding her hand. Did something happen to your brother? What happened to Hongjian? Fang Qingyan let go of her hand and said, You'll know when we get to the hotel. I can't tell you now at home. Zhao Wei stood up and said, Okay, I'll go with you. I want to see who Hongjian has offended and why I need to show up in person. Fang Qingyan didn't dare to say anything. After Zhao Wei took her bag and cell phone, she turned around and walked out. The two got in the car and headed straight for the hotel. When getting off the car, Fang Qingyan saw a 120 ambulance parked in the parking lot in front of the hotel, and suddenly thought whether she should also prepare one for her mother. If you really faint, you must be sent to the hospital. But she didn't think much about it. She helped Zhao Wei out of the car and went into the hotel. In room 608, after her elder sister left, Fang Jinglei didn't say anything at first. She knew very well that this matter could not be explained clearly with Fang Jidi, the firecracker. There's no way to wake up someone who's pretending to be asleep, right? So she drank and smoked to suppress her worries. But Fang Jidi just refused to calm down. Second sister, what good will it do you? Or did Fang Pinggan promise you some benefit? When Fang Jinglei heard this kind of question, she really wanted to slap her in the face like her elder sister. It's just that she needed Fang Jidi to stay as calm as possible after her mother came, so she just looked at Fang Jidi as if she was an idiot. I guess this is something you and big sister have discussed. After Hongjian is driven away, Fang Pinggan will come to inherit the family business. Will he give you and your elder sister more shares then? If this is not the case, I can't imagine what benefit you can get from this matter. Can you tell me? Fang Jidi was holding a wine glass and crossing her legs, looking nonchalant. She threw the wet towel on the coffee table. It seems that the face is not swollen. It just looks a little red due to long-term facial mask. Chapter 32, Heartbroken. 32, Fang Jinglei said calmly. The only good thing about this is that I can protect our mother. It makes no difference to me who controls the Fang family. I can support myself without relying on anyone. But this matter is very important to my mother. If you still can't get over your inexplicable sister-brother relationship, then just open your eyes and watch carefully. After you see with your own eyes how much of a blow this incident has had on our mother, I hope you can truly become a sensible person. I really don't understand. Aren't you working for Lawyer Gu? How come you haven't learned a single bit of Attorney Gu's calmness? Fang Jidi was stunned for a moment, then relaxed. Second sister, do you really think that this fake report you made can make Mom believe it? Fang Jinglei glanced at her. She didn't want this brainless sister at all. You are not qualified to judge whether the appraisal report is true or not. Besides, you have no right to criticize me and my elder sister. I really regret agreeing to bring you into this. If I had known this earlier, I wouldn't have wasted my time with a brainless person like you. I don't know what else you can do besides being a drag. Fang Jidi snorted and said nothing more. When Fang Qingyan and Zhao Wei knocked on the door, Fang Jinglei happened to be in the bathroom. Fang Jidi opened the door and saw Zhao Wei and immediately said, Mom, don't believe them. Fang Qingyan was furious and shouted in a low voice, Fang Jidi, if you say anything nonsense again, I will slap you in front of my mother. Zhao Wei looked confused, looked at this and then looked at that, frowned and asked, What are you talking about? I'm here now, let's go in and talk. She entered the room first. Fang Jidi stared at Fang Qingyan without saying a word, then walked back to the room with a snort of anger. Fang Qingyan closed the door and then walked in. Zhao Wei put down her bag and looked at the red wine and wine glasses on the coffee table, as well as the cigarette butts in the ashtray, and suddenly felt a little dissatisfied. Clean up this coffee table, it's such a mess. She leaned on the sofa and watched Fang Qingyan come over without saying a word to clean up the ashtray, but then she watched her eldest daughter bring a wine glass. He actually poured her a cup and placed it in front of her. Yan, what's going on? Fang Jidi sneered and sat opposite her mother Zhao Wei without saying a word. Fang Qingyan did not answer her mother's question. She looked at Fang Jidi and asked, Where is your second sister? Fang Jidi turned her head and ignored her, her face full of rebellion. Just at this moment, the sound of the toilet flushing was heard from the bathroom. Fang Jinglei came out after washing her hands and saw Zhao Wei already sitting on the sofa. She then turned around and took out the appraisal report that she had put away. She didn't give it directly to Zhao Wei, but handed it to Fang Qingyan. The atmosphere in the room became subtle. No one spoke. Fang Qingyan just felt her mouth was dry. Fang Jidi acted as if it was none of her business, while Fang Jinglei just waited quietly. Zhao Wei's expression turned a little serious. She didn't know what was in her eldest daughter's hand, but it was obviously related to her. Although she basically doesn't take care of anything at home, she spends most of her time going out shopping and getting beauty treatments with other ladies. But she basically has the final say on the family's internal affairs. What is it that you can't tell home about? Is it related to me that you coaxed me to come to the hotel? Knowing that this matter was definitely not a trivial matter, her voice trembled slightly. Mom, Fang Qingyan glanced at Fang Jinglei and said, "Do you still remember what Fang Pingyan said the day he left home?" Zhao Wei quickly recalled and shook her head. "No need to go into so much detail, just tell me what it is." Fang Qingyan's face was clearly struggling. She shook her head and said, "Mom, let me tell you the whole story. I arranged for someone to follow my father. From the time Pingyan told us until now, my father has stayed over there once and visited 3 times. But I didn't see Fang Hongjun going there. In order to verify what Pingyan said, we secretly took hair from Hongjun and his father and did a paternity test." Her eyes were red and her voice was choked with sobs. Fang Jinglei sat next to Zhao Wei, holding her mother's arm, fearing that she would not be able to accept it. Zhao Wei's face turned paler and paler, and her body began to tremble slightly. "My second sister went to 3 different institutions for appraisal. The results are the same." Fang Qingyan looked at her shaky mother, gritted her teeth, and continued. "Fang Hongjun is my father's biological son, but we don't know whether Hongjun himself knows about this matter." Mom. Fang Jinglei kept calling her mother in a low voice, fearing that she would fall down. Zhao Wei's face turned pale as she stared at the appraisal report handed over by Fang Qingyan. Her hands were not shaking very badly, but the frequency was very high. She simply couldn't believe it was true. But now all 3 daughters were together and the reports were out. "This is not true either." Fang Jidi also walked over with concern and sat down next to her mother, holding her other arm. She glared at her elder sister fiercely, expressing her dissatisfaction. But given the mother's current state, it is not the right time for her to talk nonsense. Her elder sister's eyes were red, and she didn't dare to offend her. In her elder sister's current state, she was sure that if she opened her mouth carelessly, she would be slapped in the face twice at least. She could only observe her mother's expression carefully. Zhao Wei looked at the first copy, her eyes fixed on the red seal for 2 full seconds. Then she tore off the first page and looked at the second copy. Her tears began to fall silently, dripping onto the report. "Tig tig." Fang Jinglei raised her left hand to cover her mouth and cried silently. After reading it all, Zhao Wei sniffed, put the report on the coffee table, wiped her tears, and gently patted her 2 daughters beside her. "Let Mom rest for a while. Lele, I'm going to sleep here for a while. Please don't disturb me." Fang Qingyan's tears fell. She watched her mother Zhao Wei stand up tremblingly and walk towards the bedroom with the support of Fang Jidi. Fang Jinglei bent down to pick up the report that fell on the carpet, stood up and walked aside to put it on the table, then turned around and hugged Fang Qingyan. She put her chin on her elder sister's shoulder, and soon her tears wet Fang Qingyan's shoulders. Almost at the same time, she felt a heat on her shoulder. It was the eldest sister's tears that wet her clothes. Fang Jidi helped her mother into the bedroom, silently lifted the quilt, and helped her mother sit down. She bent down to help Zhao Wei take off her shoes and helped her lie down. After Zhao Wei lay down, she turned sideways with her back facing her. After Fang Jidi covered her with the quilt, she left the bedroom without saying a word and closed the door gently. In front of me, the eldest sister and the second sister were hugging each other. Both of them were crying, but they were suppressing their cries. I was afraid of disturbing my mother, who was lying in the bedroom. Fang Jidi wiped her eyes and was about to open her mouth to accuse someone when she heard a suppressed cry coming from the bedroom behind her. "Ah, woo-woo." That sound was heart-wrenching. Chapter 33, What If Pingyan is Gone? This was the first time the sisters had heard such sad crying. On weekdays, Zhao Wei would only cry occasionally when Fang Pingyan came back home. The last few times I cried were because of Fang Pingyan and Fang Hongjun. But at this moment, the mother in the bedroom was crying for herself. Perhaps this was the first time she cried for herself. Fang Jidi shut up and stood at the bedroom door, covering her mouth with her hands, tears of sadness streaming down her face. Fang Jinglei and Fang Qingyan hugged each other and cried. Fang Jidi cried at the bedroom door, and her mother cried in the bedroom. This is the scene where everyone is crying. Fang Jidi walked to the sofa, wiped her tears, picked up the wine bottle without using a cup, and drank several sips directly from the bottle. Seeing her two sisters still hugging each other, she could no longer suppress the anger in her heart. She stood up and walked over to them, grappling and cursing. "Why are you crying? Are you satisfied now? Is this what you want?" Her voice was not loud, but the two of them could hear it clearly. Fang Qingyan let go of her second sister and turned to look at her with a tearful face. "You think I want this? Mom is even sadder than us. But do you want this matter to be exposed again at Fang Hongzhen's coming-of-age party? By then, the house will be full of guests. Do you want the Fang family to lose all their face?" Fang Jinglei took the tissue paper and tore off a few pieces to give to them. "Now is not the time to quarrel, Jidi. Don't blame me. If you want to blame someone, blame our dad." Fang Jidi snorted, took the paper and blew her nose, then returned to the sofa and sat down. Fang Qingyan followed over and sat down. She also picked up the bottle, blew twice, and wiped her mouth. Only Fang Jinglei stopped drinking. Instead, she sat down at the tea table, pulled out a chair, and started to boil water to warm the cups. Now that Mom knows, no one can help her unless she can get over it herself. No matter what Mom decides, there are still two things I want to tell you. Fang Jidi picked up the bottle and poured herself a glass. "Is there anything else you haven't thought of? I think you are just looking for trouble. If things continue like this family will fall apart." Fang Qingyan didn't say a word. After wiping her tears, she sat on the sofa and began to think. After being sad, the mother will definitely make a decision. When Fang Hongzhen came home, she was already in elementary school and still remembered many things clearly. Fang Hongzhen was not adopted by his parents from an orphanage, but was brought home by his father. It was the father who said that the child was adopted from an orphanage, and all the paperwork had been completed. "My mother should know whether there are any procedures, but I am only in primary school and I don't understand anything. All I knew was that I had a new brother. No matter what her mother chooses, she will undoubtedly support it. But when it comes to expressing your opinion, how should you do it?" Fang Jinglei, who was sitting a few meters away, said. "One is whether Fang Hongzhen also knows that he is an illegitimate child. This is the most important thing. If he had known this a long time ago, I would never have agreed to let him stay in the Fang family. If he doesn't know, I don't mind him staying at the Fang family. Unfortunately, I have no evidence of this." Fang Jidi turned her head and glanced at the bedroom door, and heard faint crying sounds from inside. She picked up the wine glass and drank it all in one gulp, then put the glass down and said, "You mean Hongzhen knows that he is an illegitimate child? Moreover, he has been hiding the fact that he knows his own background." Fang Qingyan and Fang Jinglei both looked at her. Fang Jinglei shook her head and said, "I have no evidence." Fang Qingyan sniffed and said, "Don't worry. As long as Mom talks about this at home, it won't make much difference whether he knows it or not. There was no way he could stay home any longer. Dad will definitely send him abroad." Fang Jinglei interrupted. "No wonder Dad was talking about this the other day. Maybe it was planned a long time ago." Fang Jidi raised her eyelids. "Is there a big difference between him knowing and not knowing? Illegitimate children also have inheritance rights. This is what the law stipulates." "I can't tell the difference." Fang Jinglei raised her voice slightly and asked, "Fang Jidi, are you sick? Fang Hongzhen is an illegitimate child, and his mother lives in the villa given by our father. Even though I don't have evidence yet, I can say that he definitely knows his own background. He is the one our father used to inherit the Fang family assets. Are you really confused or just pretending to be confused? Our mother was the one who was married into the family through a formal marriage. If you still support Fang Hongzhen, then what is Fang Pingyan? Ping En is your biological brother. He is the legitimate first-line heir to the Fang family." Fang Jidi turned her head away and didn't look at her, nor did she answer. Fang Qingyan sighed and said, "Jinglei, you just mentioned two things. What's the second thing?" Fang Jinglei picked up the cup and said, "The second thing is how to let Ping En return to the Fang family legitimately." She said it very lightly, but this sentence was like a gong striking Fang Jidi's ears. The explosion made her dizzy. "What?" She sat up straight. "Let that uneducated guy come back." Fang Qingyan shouted in a low voice. "Fang Jidi, don't open your mouth and talk nonsense. Up to now, apart from that night, has Ping En done anything truly uncultured? If you don't have evidence, shut up." Fang Jidi was also unhappy and immediately retorted, "You still have the nerve to criticize me. Why don't you take a look at what you are like first? I just reject him, what about you? You are at least my accomplices, don't think you are pure." She sneered and said with a hint of disdain, "I never said I liked or accepted him. I don't even bother talking to him. Fang Qingyan closed her eyes, opened them again, turned to Fang Jinglei and asked, "Is there anything you can't do?" Fang Jinglei shook her head. "In addition to asking for his forgiveness, we also need him to be willing to forgive us and come back. There is no other way." Fang Qingyan nodded thoughtfully. Fang Jinglei continued, "I don't have to go to work, I'll just stay here with my mom. You all have to go to work. Who will keep an eye on Fang Hongjian? No matter what, we must find out whether he knows who his parents are." Fang Qingyan followed up and said, "It would be fine if he didn't know. If he knew, I would never tolerate him. If you want the Fang family's property, it depends on whether I agree or not. An illegitimate child, raised by a maid, dares to covet the family property, huh? I want to see what my dad will do. By then, the Fang family in Beijing will not agree to it." Fang Jinglei suddenly said, "Well, what if Ping'an is gone? Even if Dad and Ping'an acknowledge it after severing the relationship, it will be useless if their hometown doesn't acknowledge it. But what if peace is gone? Isn't Fang Hongjian the heir?" Fang Qingyan frowned and said, "You mean once this matter is exposed, Ping'an will be in danger?" Chapter 34, Don't Care. 34. Fang Jinglei continued to shake her head, looking worried. "I don't know." Fang Jidi was stunned. Laws and regulations are one thing, but the house rules of wealthy families are what they must abide by. Just look at the unspoken rules of the wealthy families and what the rules are in each family. This is a common problem among large families and is also a rule that has been passed down. Who dares to break? "Okay, come and have some tea," Fang Jinglei said. "Don't drink the wine." The three of them sat around the tea table, drinking tea in silence. Fang Qingyan was very dissatisfied with Fang Jidi's absent-minded look. But she was also worried. I was worried that Fang Jidi would tell Fang Hongjian about this when she got back. She was worried that Fang Jidi would alert the enemy. The only way to save the Fang family's reputation right now is to let Fang Hongjian study abroad quietly. It's best not to come back again. It doesn't matter how much money Qin Balian took from his father. It would be best if we could go abroad together. The Fang family just needs to give them some money to get rid of them. But the problem is when Fang Ping'an left, his resolute attitude. What should I do? She really wanted to slap herself dozens of times and then cry her heart out. It is almost impossible for Fang Ping'an to return to the Fang family now, regardless of whether it is related to money or not. At least Fang Ping'an is definitely going to Beijing to go to university now. As for Fang Hongjian, his father originally arranged for him to study abroad. There won't be many chances for the two to meet in the future. But who can guarantee that Fang Ping'an will not encounter any accidents? If Fang Hongjian already knew his background, then this seemingly obedient and well-behaved brother had been deliberately deceiving their entire family, right? As the eldest sister, she and her mother Zhao Wei were both victims and his accomplices and disguises. Fang Hongjian, so scary. I don't know who taught him this idea. It's really not like that of a middle school student who is less than 18 years old. Fang Jidi didn't care at all what the other two people were thinking. She has always been a simple person. What if, she said, what if Hongjian didn't know, would Fang Ping'an still be in trouble? The teacup in front of her was very small, so she picked it up and took a sip. "It's very likely," Fang Jinglei replied. "No one can explain clearly what has not happened." Fang Qingyan played with the teacup in her hand and said, "Wait until Mom makes this clear, and then I'll go talk to him." Fang Jidi raised her eyebrows and asked, "You talked to him? What did you talk about? You don't really want him back, do you?" Fang Qingyan lowered her eyes. "Why not? He is the legitimate son of the Fang family. It originally belonged to him. Isn't it only natural to return it to him? Isn't he your brother from the same mother?" Fang Jidi frowned, obviously not liking this statement very much. Fang Jinglei looked at the expression on Fang Jidi's face and shook her head slightly. Fang Qingyan drank the tea in the cup in one gulp. "Xiaodi, don't worry about this matter. I'm letting you know because you should know this. Otherwise, I wouldn't have asked you to come. Moreover, I'm officially telling you that you are not allowed to reveal any information to Fang Hongjian. If you dare, I will show you how I will deal with you." Fang Jidi snorted but didn't say anything. Fang Jinglei silently poured tea for the two of them, and the room fell into a brief silence. The crying in the bedroom could no longer be heard, but none of them went in to comfort their mother. Fang Ping'an had been on guard duty for a whole day. He wasn't tired at all, but he was so hot that he was sweating all over. As soon as he entered the house, the first thing he did was to take a shower. Chen Xiuhui came back from school just after taking a shower and changing clothes. "Is school over?" "Well, it's too hot. Brother, did you just take a shower?" Chen Xiuhui asked while changing her shoes. I've been in the sun all day. I'm almost dying of heat. I'm all sticky with sweat. How can I not take a shower? Fang Pingyan walked to the dining table, picked up the boiled water, and poured himself a glass. Chen Xiuhui put her school bag back in her room and said, I want to take a shower too. It's too hot. Fang Pingyan picked up the cup and drank while asking, Are you going to take the final exam soon? Almost, but it's okay. I'm definitely in the top 5 in our class. Chen Xiuhui walked into the bathroom with some clean clothes. Fang Pingyan returned to the sofa and sat down, then picked up his phone and started watching videos. Now he has nothing to do except learning to drive. He didn't want to go to the class reunion at all. But Chen Xiaohua and Liu Qing both advised him to spend more time with his classmates. After all, they had gone to high school together for 3 years, and there would be opportunities for them to interact with each other in the future. Although he had already decided not to stay in Yuncheng, the concern of his elders made it difficult for him to refuse directly. He didn't want to contact anyone except the fat man. Fang Pingyan was very clear in his mind that having a reunion with classmates was not a big deal at the moment. What needs to be considered is whether Fang Hongzhen has already started planning to kill himself. In his previous life, after the coming-of-age banquet, Fang Hongzhen asked him out for dinner, saying that he wanted to have a good talk with him before he went abroad about asking him to stay at home to take care of his family. What's the result? He was knocked unconscious and thrown into a car on the road. He even suspected that the reason he died from excessive blood loss in the warehouse was because Fang Hongzhen had deliberately arranged it. The purpose is to kill oneself, regardless of whether he can inherit the Fang family's property or eventually take over the family's property. Fang Hongzhen will find a way to kill himself as soon as possible. The only difference from the previous life is that this time I left the Fang family. Even though I was kicked out, at least we severed our relationship. But this doesn't guarantee that Fang Hongzhen will let me go. That guy will never forget the grudge of being beaten into the hospital by me. Thinking back to his previous life, when Fang Hongzhen really came back, he indeed brought Qin Balian and moved directly into the Fang family. He revealed his identity and appeared to be very respectful to Zhao Wei and her sisters, but in fact, he used various means to suppress them secretly. Zhao Wei was disheartened and eventually committed suicide. His 4 sisters were married off to various large families in Beijing by him in the name of the head of the family, thanks to the appreciation of the Fang family in Beijing. Not only did he drive the man away, but he also brought him more benefits through marriage. The only one who escaped was Fang Qingyan, because Fang Qingyan and Gu Beibai were lesbians. Fang Qingyan, who was forced to reveal that she was a lesbian, has since disappeared from people's sight. Of course, he knew these secrets. What he knew even more clearly was that once the explosive news broke out that he, the legitimate son, was still alive, and Fang Hongzhen was an illegitimate son, it will be very difficult for Fang Hongzhen to obtain the identity of the heir of the Fang family in Yuncheng. And if he also performs very well, then Fang Hongzhen can be said to have no hope at all. The Fang family of Yuncheng, founded by Fang Junhong, is considered to be very powerful in Yuncheng. But in the capital, it is not even third-rate. It's just the Fang family's layout in the south. When the time comes to give up, then give up. The Fang and Zhao families had already made a lot of money from their investments after so many years. The key is not to lose face for the Fang family, a prominent family in the capital. Therefore, Fang Pingyan is now not only concerned about whether he will be kidnapped again, but more importantly, whether Fang Jinglei and Fang Qingyan have already taken action. What stage has it reached? He was well aware that he was taking advantage of them, but he didn't care. Chapter 35, Pingyan, can you come over? Buying lottery tickets has proven that the history of this life will follow the same trajectory as the previous life. I have not brought any butterfly effect to this world. Everything that happened, just like in the previous life. He wasn't sure if only things related to him would change, at least not now. What he fears most is that things related to him will change, and then he will have no advantages. It is very strange to have this mentality of knowing that you may have an advantage, but still being a little afraid. All he could do was avoid contact with Fang Hongzhen, or watch him die with his own eyes. Otherwise, he would be killed sooner or later. The root cause is that he is the legitimate first heir of the Fang family in Yuncheng. Maybe there was also a reason to kick him in the balls, or just kill that guy on your own initiative. But he was lost in thought for a long time. Until Chen Xiuhui came out of the bathroom, he came back to his senses. The little girl is 1.66 meters tall, which is not short in Yuncheng, and can even be said to be slightly tall. But it will still grow. Chen Xiaohua is from the north, while Liu Qing is a local. So the girl will continue to grow. Looking at her slim figure, Fang Pingyan suddenly laughed out loud. Chen Xiuhui was tilting her head to wipe her hair. She looked up when she heard his laughter. Those big eyes were full of questions. "Brother, what are you laughing at?" Fang Pingyan quickly explained. "Well, I just thought that you are still so short now. What will you do in the future?" Chen Xiuhui quit immediately. "I will grow up, I will. My dad is from the north, so my height is like his." The girl pouted and looked unhappy. "Besides, I'm not short now." She looked down at herself, her face suddenly turned red, and she turned and ran back to her room. "Oh my God! No underwear! Really, did I see it all? Oh, it's so embarrassing." The little girl's ears turned red, and her face felt hot. Fang Pingyan had no idea why the girl ran back. I didn't think about it in a crooked way at all. Seeing the girl return to her room, he looked at the time and shouted, "Are you going to eat at my parents', or are you going out with me?" Chen Xiuhui had just taken off her clothes and was putting on her underwear when she heard this and said loudly, "Can we order takeout? I also want some iced milk tea, brother, can you treat me?" Fang Pingyan said loudly, "No, eating takeout all the time is not good for your health. It won't work if there is no milk in the milk tea. Drink less milk tea in the future. I'll go to the kitchen and check. If that doesn't work, I'll cook you a bowl of noodles." Chen Xiuhui said nothing, quickly put on her clothes, opened the door, and ran out and said, "Brother, how about treating me to a barbecue? I don't drink milk tea, how about Coke? If all else fails, plum juice." She stood beside Fang Pingyan and looked up at him. The big, wet eyes, like those of a silly roe deer, just stared at him without blinking, a face full of longing. Fang Pingyan's heart softened, and he raised his hand and rubbed her head hard for a long time. The little girl struggled for a while before she said, "Okay, barbecue." Chen Xiuhui did not cheer. Her hair, which had just been washed, was now a mess. "Brother, wait a moment. I'll comb my hair and we'll go." "Okay, don't worry. My parents won't be back until after 8 o'clock. Take your time. I'll go put the clothes in the washing machine." Chen Xiuhui rushed into the bathroom again. "No, you have to wash them separately. I'll wash them first, and you can wash yours after we finish eating the barbecue." Fang Pingyan smiled and sat on the sofa waiting for her to do something. This is what home feels like. Although we are not related by blood, this is truly home. It was the same as before he left 4 years ago, except that his sister had indeed grown up a lot. When he left, the little girl had not yet graduated from elementary school. She was still short and fat, but now she has the shape of a grown-up girl. He took out his cell phone and called Chen Xiaohua. Soon the call was connected. "Dad, I don't want to cook anymore. I'm going to take Hui out for a barbecue. Tell Mom not to worry about us. I'll be back in an hour at most." Chen Xiaohua was busy, so he agreed as soon as he heard it. "Okay, you can go out to eat, but don't eat too late. Hui still has homework to do. The final exam is coming up soon, so you can help keep an eye on her studies." "Okay, I understand, Dad, don't worry." After a while, Chen Xiuhui was ready. He was wearing a pair of denim shorts, a white teddy bear crew neck sweater, and had nothing in his hand except a cell phone. When changing shoes, I chose a pair of canvas shoes. She looks full of youthful vitality, with fair and delicate skin. She is really a little beauty. The two of them left the community and walked for more than 10 minutes, or less than 1 kilometer, and arrived at the snack street. Although it was just past 7 o'clock, many people had already started eating and drinking here. Fang Pingyan let the girl order her own food, and he just paid for it, not caring about anything else. The food came quickly, and not long after he started eating, the cell phone in his trouser pocket began to vibrate. I took out my cell phone and saw that it was Fang Jinglei calling. He glanced at it and hung up immediately. I had no intention of answering the phone at all. I just felt that Fang Jinglei was really shameless. Less than 5 seconds after I hung up, as soon as I put the phone back in my pocket, it started vibrating again. Chen Xiuhui is very smart and sensible. When I saw my brother's action, I knew that he didn't want to answer the phone instead of being embarrassed to answer the phone in front of her. After Fang Pingyan hung up 3 times in a row, she finally couldn't bear it anymore. "Brother, if it's the same person calling, then there might really be something wrong. Why don't you take it?" She had an iced plum juice in her left hand and a pair of chopsticks in her right hand, and was concentrating on a plate of spicy fried scallops in front of her. It is said to be extremely spicy, but actually for northerners it is only slightly spicy. Chen Xiaohua is from the north, so his family can tolerate mild chili peppers. After all, they have been eating chili peppers since they were young. Fang Pingyan saw the concern in her eyes and nodded. If you call again, I'll answer it. As soon as he finished speaking, the phone started vibrating again. Fang Pingyan sighed and glanced at the girl sitting opposite him. The girl's eyes were curved into two crescents, and she was smiling at him. He whispered, I'm going to answer a call outside. You stay here and don't go anywhere, okay? Seeing the girl nod, he answered the phone and said, Wait a moment, I'll go out and answer it. When I walked out of the barbecue restaurant, it was still very noisy outside, and there was no air conditioning. People were drinking beer, eating, laughing, and even arguing not far away, making the street full of the strong smell of fireworks. Hey, what do you want from me? Fang Pingyan made way for a person who wanted to enter the store and turned to walk to the window. Inside was Chen Xiuhui, who was enjoying her meal. Seeing him standing there, she raised her hand, shook it at him, and gave him a big smile. Fang Pingyan nodded. Fang Jinglei's voice came from the phone with a hint of tears. Pingyan, can you come over? Mom is sick. Chapter 36. Does this have anything to do with me? Zhao Wei's face suddenly appeared in Fang Pingyan's mind. He thought for a second before answering. Does this have anything to do with me? Fang Jinglei seemed to be choked and also paused before saying, Are you really unwilling to forgive us? Mom is sick, why don't you come to see her? Fang Pingyan smiled. No, I have already severed ties with your Fang family. I don't think the life or death of a stranger is as important as the barbecue I eat. If there is nothing else, see you later. Hang up. After hanging up the phone, he forced a smile at Chen Xiuhui, then turned and walked towards the door of the barbecue restaurant. On the other side, in the room of Kempinski Hotel, Fang Qingyan looked at Fang Jinglei with a nervous look on her face. Why, he won't come. Fang Jidi sneered and said, I told you not to call that ungrateful bastard. He has been eating and drinking for free at our house for 4 years, and now he even refuses to come when his own mother is sick. What an ungrateful person. I really shouldn't have taken him back in the first place. I should have let him struggle in the world of the lower class. Fang Jinglei didn't bother to pay attention to her and put down her phone. Mom doesn't want to go home. What should I do now? It's already this late. What will Dad do if he comes home and finds no one at home? Fang Qingyan looked at Fang Jidi in distress and said, Say less. Fang Pingyan is your only biological brother. If you continue like this, I'll see how you'll regret it. Fang Jidi's face changed, and she closed her mouth and stopped talking. Fang Qingyan continued, Go see what Mom wants to eat and ask her if she wants to go home. Staying in a hotel is not a problem. She has always been indecisive. If she keeps dragging things out like this, she will get into trouble. Fang Jidi got up and went to the bedroom without saying a word. In the bedroom, Zhao Wei leaned against the head of the bed with her eyes closed, not knowing what she was thinking. There was food on the table in front of her, but she didn't touch it. Fang Jidi walked over and sat beside the bed and said softly, Mom, no matter what happens, your health is the most important. It's happened, now all you have to do is take care of your body. No matter what you decide, we are here to support you and will not hold you back. We all support you. Zhao Wei said nothing and refused to even open her eyes. At this moment, Fang Jidi had completely lost her usual sarcasm. She just sighed, sat next to Zhao Wei and reached out to hold her hand. In the room outside, Fang Jinglei's tears were already flowing. He said, Mom and we are all strangers. The life or death of a stranger has nothing to do with him. It is not as important as the barbecue he eats. Woo woo woo. Did he really say that? Fang Qingyan gritted her teeth, looking a little hideous and scary. She really wishes Fang Pingyan was in front of her right now. She wanted to slap him hard 100 times. Fang Jinglei lowered her head and hummed. Fang Qingyan raised her head and sighed. Forget it, we brought this upon ourselves. Are you going home, or am I going home? Or call Dad and Hongjian and tell them you won't be going home today. Just make up an excuse. Fang Jinglei shook her head and said, I won't fight because I'm afraid I won't be able to hold back and start swearing. She blew her nose very loudly. Fang Qingyan frowned as she watched her throw the tissue into the trash can after blowing her nose. Forget it, I'll just fight and say. Just say you're going to Shanghai with your mom. She said she went to pick out gifts and clothes for Hongjian's coming-of-age party. I'll be back in 2 days. What do you think? Fang Jinglei raised her head with a pair of red eyes. It's up to you. I don't want to talk to Dad, and I don't want to see or hear the name Hongjian. I won't be going home in the near future, so I'll just stay here. When he leaves, I will go back. So you don't have to work anymore. It's okay. The manuscript is due at the end of the month. Just bring my computer to me tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. Fang Qingyan had no choice but to agree. Fang Jidi can't be relied upon at all. That guy can't keep things to himself. I don't know why he chose to study law and wants to be a lawyer. I am really speechless. She walked back and sat next to Fang Jinglei, whispering, Ping An, what are you going to do? Things are different now than before. Mom has always spoiled Hongjian before, but she will definitely not do that now. Without Hongjian and Ping'an, I'm worried that Mom won't be able to hold on. Fang Jinglei shook her head. I can't help it. I once asked him to forgive me, and he said it was not necessary. He said that what's past is past, and everyone should just remain strangers to each other. As long as you don't disturb him, it's fine. Seeing her sad and indifferent look, Fang Qingyan reached out and gently patted her shoulder. Don't be sad, since it has come to this, you must persevere no matter what. Regardless of whether Fang Ping'an is willing to come back, let's first see what Mom's attitude is, and find a way to resolve Fang Hongjian's issue. After saying that, she stood up, picked up her cell phone, walked to the window and called her father Fang Junhong. The call ended quickly, and Fang Junhong did not show any surprise. In the past, the women in their family would go out shopping together and stay away for a day or two. After Fang Qingyan hung up the phone, she immediately made another call. Hey, I want you to keep an eye on Fang Junhong and Fang Hongjian. Find out where they went tonight and who they met, and take photos. Must have photos. Money, didn't I give it to you? Okay, I'll transfer it to you later. Just take a few days. If there is still no result, it's over. If necessary, please contact us for a new order. You won't refuse this, will you? What? Yeah, okay, bye. She didn't stop after the second call. Instead, he made a third call. Hey, Beibai, how's your investigation going for me? Gu Beibai seemed to have said a long speech. It was 2 or 3 minutes later that Fang Qingyan hung up the phone and sat down with a gloomy expression. Fang Jinglei had been sitting there quietly listening. The eldest sister didn't avoid her, which meant that she could listen to it. Sister, do you think Dad and Hongjian will take this opportunity to meet Qin Balian? I don't know, Fang Qingyan shook her head. The information I hope to get now is that Fang Hongjian knows my life experience. He knew his mother existed and where she lived, and it would be great if there was evidence of them meeting. With this evidence, I can make him leave the house with nothing. Fang Jinglei hesitated. Sister, he is also my father's son. It is unlikely that he will leave the house with nothing. He was originally intended to study abroad, and when the incident broke out, he took the opportunity to go abroad. The matter was left unresolved. Even if my mother is angry, he has already gone abroad and no one can do anything to him. After all, he still has our father to protect him. Chapter 37, at least I begged him to forgive me. What about you? I even suspected that when Dad said he had found him, he was forced to bring him back. Fang Jinglei's voice was not loud, and her tone was kind of faint, which was very uncomfortable to listen to. Fang Qingyan knew that this was her second sister's self-blame. As your eldest sister, you don't need to bear these things. It's just the appraisal report you produced. There's no way you can get away with it. All I can do is keep watching, try to get more evidence, and protect my mother's interests as much as possible. Otherwise, you know what will happen to Mom after Fang Hongjian gets the inheritance rights. Fang Jinglei finally had some emotional fluctuations. She snorted and said, if he knew everything, then he was able to pretend for so many years until now, which shows that this person is very scary. He is a typical villain in any work. By then, not only Mom, but also us sisters and Ping will not have a good ending. Safety. She quickly picked up her phone and started typing a text message instead of making a call. Ping will definitely not answer the phone if we call again, she said as she typed. He's afraid that we will contact him. I have to tell him that he might be in danger now. Once someone like Fang Hongjian starts to deal with him, I'm worried that he will be in danger. Fang Qingyan followed her thoughts, and her expression soon changed. Although the Fang family in Yuncheng is not big, they still have assets worth hundreds of billions. For the sake of these hundreds of billions of assets, Fang Hongjian would definitely do something like killing Ping An, his only competitor. According to the practices of the Fang family, by that time, there would be almost no problem for Fang Hongjian to inherit the family property. No, just sending a message doesn't guarantee that it will be received. What if he blocked you? It would be safer to go to his house and talk to him in person, Fang Jinglei said without even looking up. He won't block me, but you, that may not be the case. At least I begged him to forgive me. What about you? What have you done? This is embarrassing. Fang Qingyan's face turned pale. I am now concerned about your Fang Ping'an's property and personal safety, and you actually blocked me. She picked up her phone and called Fang Ping'an. Sure enough, there was a beep, beep, beep sound coming from the phone. Call again, the number you dialed is busy. Please call again later. Fang Qingyan's face darkened. She sat opposite Fang Jinglei angrily, picked up the already cold teacup and took a sip. After you send the message, give him a call to let him know the situation. I'm going downstairs to buy some things. Fang Jinglei looked up and asked, what do you want to buy? Sanitary napkins, do you want them? Fang Qingyan replied unhappily. No, I'm not coming. I'm going to go see how Mom is doing, you go ahead. She also stood up and walked towards the bedroom. When I opened the door, I saw Zhao Wei leaning against the wall with a pale face, and Fang Zhidi was feeding her porridge. Seeing her come in, Fang Zhidi did not stop what she was doing. Mom, are you feeling better now? Fang Jinglei asked softly. Zhao Wei opened her eyes and looked at her, then raised her hand to push Fang Zhidi's hand away. You guys, are you regretting it like Mom does? Woo. Zhao Wei started crying again. Tears flowed from the corners of his eyes, along his face and into his collar. Fang Jinglei quickly took a piece of paper from the side to help her wipe away her tears. Yes, Mom, I regret it very much. But there are more important things to do now. You come from a big family. You should know that even if you don't deal with Hongjun, at least Ping'an is in danger now. When Fang Zhidi heard this, she almost immediately understood what she meant. Hongjun probably won't do that. Second sister, please stop scaring Mom, she said somewhat unfairly. Although Hongjun is not my biological son, I was raised by him since he was a child. How could Mom not know what he is like? Zhao Wei tilted her head to look at her, then looked at Fang Jinglei again. Lele, call Ping'an and tell him to be careful. Don't let anyone hurt you. I'm fine, go call him right away. Her voice was quiet, filled with deep fatigue. Xiaodi, Ping'an is your brother, remember this. Fang Zhidi was stunned for a moment and nodded. Fang Jinglei held Zhao Wei's hand and said, Mom, I have already contacted him. He knows it too, don't worry. Ping'an is our only younger brother, and no one can change that. Even if he has a grudge against us now, we are blood relatives after all. It is normal to have conflicts, and they will be fine after a while. Don't worry. Zhao Wei moved her hands, sighed, and said, I never thought that the child I raised with all my heart was actually carefully arranged by him. What a shame, what a shame. Woohoo! This is simply a humiliation to me. It has been a continuous humiliation to me and the Zhao family for 18 years. How can I have the face to go back to the Zhao family? Zhao Wei's crying wasn't loud, but she just couldn't stop her tears. She whimpered and slapped the dining table on the bed. Fang Jinglei winked at Fang Zhidi, and the two of them moved the dining table away and placed it on the carpet aside. Then he came over to comfort her. Mom, it's useless to think about these things now. What you need to do is to decide how to solve this problem as soon as possible. Not only do we have to take care of the Fang family's reputation, we also have to consider the Zhao family's reputation. Zhao Wei gritted her teeth and said, Qin Balian, he has been hiding well for more than 20 years. It was also my own fault that I believed him. Fang Jinglei asked curiously, Mom, do you know that Qin Balian? Not only did she feel strange, Fang Zhidi, who was sitting on the sofa in the bedroom, also looked curious. Zhao Wei gritted her teeth and said, Back then, the Qin family was considered a well-known, wealthy family in Yuncheng, but because their backers fell, they fell into decline. At the beginning, Qin Balian met him when she was studying in the capital. At that time, the Qin family was still quite prosperous. Later, your father came here when choosing a market for her. It was at this time that your father met me through the arrangement of his family. If it weren't for the support from my family, what could he have accomplished? Your father is not a business genius. He is not even as good as your sister. Before she finished speaking, Fang Zhidi, who was sitting next to her, couldn't help but speak. Mom, you mean that your father and I were married by arrangement, not a free love relationship? When she suddenly spoke, Zhao Wei immediately lost the desire to continue. She glanced at Fang Zhidi, who was full of curiosity, and said, How can a woman from a wealthy family have the right to choose her own husband? You too. Unless you are willing to completely give up all your interests at home, you can only follow your family's arrangements. Fang Jinglei felt depressed. What's the point of talking about these useless things? It would be better to talk about the story of my father Fang Junheng and Qin Balian. Mom, please continue what you were saying. We never knew that Qin Balian and my dad had such a past. Zhao Wei shook her head. There's nothing much to say. They were in love with each other. There was no love between your father and I, only the kinship that developed after you were born. Now it seems that this family affection was just my wishful thinking. For him, I desperately want to give birth to a son. Chapter 38. Did Dad do this on purpose? Zhao Wei rarely gets angry. It has only happened twice in my life. Once was when I lost Ping An, and the other time was this time. Fang Junheng has an illegitimate child outside. This is nothing. She could totally handle it. What made her sad was that this bastard Fang Junheng was actually a man who was into relationships, and the woman was called Qin Balian. What's even more sad is that this bastard actually took the child back and let her raise him as her own son for 18 years. What a great shame and humiliation this is. 18 years. She finally gave birth to a son, but lost him. She lost her son while she was still in confinement. Fang Junheng saw that she was sad, and soon brought back a baby boy. They said he was brought from an orphanage. The scenes from 18 years ago flashed through my mind like slides. It's okay, Wei, it's okay. It doesn't matter if we don't have a son. We already have 4 precious daughters at home. I'm content without a son. When she didn't have a son, she was worried that the Yuncheng branch of the Fang family would have no heir, and she was very sad. Fang Junheng often comforts her. Even though his son was lost, he did not show much sadness. Instead, he advised her not to be too sad, saying that it would be harmful to her health. Don't be sad, kid. I will keep looking until I find our son. Wei, no matter what, you can't tell anyone that this child was adopted. Just say that he's our biological child. Wei father is very happy that my branch has descendants. What? So that child is his own flesh and blood. Qin Balian is the woman he has loved all his life. What is Zhao Wei? Although it was a marriage of arrangement, she had never done anything to let him down. Not only did he educate his 4 daughters and Hongzhen well, he even personally contacted resources for him from the Zhao family. I am so stupid. Woo. The more Zhao Wei thought about it, the sadder she became and the angrier she became. When a woman is completely desperate about a man, she is not a good person at all. Think about the past 30 years of her life, all wasted. If she doesn't take revenge, how can she still live? No, I want to take the evidence back to the Zhao family and let them expose it directly. Fang Hongzhen will go abroad to study, but you may be in danger. I don't know what Fang Hongzhen will do, but you should be careful. Because if you die, he will be able to inherit everything in the Fang family. Fang Pingyan leaned against the head of the bed and looked at the message on his mobile phone, feeling a little surprised. Fang Jinglei sent him this message. Doesn't it mean that they have confirmed Fang Hongzhen's true identity? And at least we have solid evidence in our hands. Otherwise, why would these brainless women contact him in such a tone? Looking at the date, there's not much time left until Fang Hongzhen's coming-of-age ceremony. In another week, he will call me the day after his coming-of-age ceremony. He even remembered what Fang Hongzhen said exactly. My parents held a coming-of-age party for me. I'm worried that you might be upset, so I wanted to ask you out to meet alone so I can explain things to you. Although he was used to being ignored by the Fang family at that time, the coming-of-age banquet did make him sad. Now Fang Hongzhen's identity has been confirmed. Fang Jinglei said on the phone that her mother was ill. Zhao Wei knows. Therefore, they should discuss together how to solve this problem now. But what does this have to do with me? Going back to the Fang family is impossible. He will not go against his oath. I will never step into the Fang family again in this life. I will not contact anyone from the Fang family. However, judging from his 15 years of experience following Fang Hongzhen, Fang Junheng is really dedicated to training his son. The love for Qin Balian is absolutely unimaginable for a fool like Zhao Wei. Based on what he knew about the practices of wealthy families, they would basically give Fang Hongzhen some money to let him leave the Fang family. Wouldn't it be natural for you to study abroad? However, Fang Jinglei's reminder is also very useful. Fang Hongzhen would not let him go. Even if his identity was exposed, he could still inherit everything from the Fang family. But is there no one who is willing to believe that he really doesn't care about anything in the other family? Why can't we, Pingyan, carve out a new world for ourselves? He had experienced how cunning Fang Hongzhen was. In the years after his death, I witnessed with my own eyes how he cheated people one after another. If that bastard really wants to attack me, he will never stop as long as I'm not dead. What should I do? I can't let my parents and Huey get involved. This was Fang Pingyan's first thought. The second thought that came to my mind was to kill that bastard. Regardless of whether the women of the Fang family really loved Fang Hongzhen, the fact that he wanted to kill her had already happened once. Was there anything else that was uncertain? If Fang Hongzhen died, whether those people would be sad or not would have nothing to do with him. But he really didn't know how to kill the other person. In his 2 lives, he was always just an 18-year-old child. The only thing we can do now is to deal with each move as it comes. Killing the other person is just an idea. If you really want to put it into action, there are too many factors to consider. Fang Pingyan leaned against the head of the bed and thought for a long time, until his neck became sore. But he still couldn't decide what he should do to avoid the fate of death in his previous life. Outside in the living room, Liu Qing was watching a TV series, and Chen Xiaohua was sitting beside him watching TV with him. The two of them were living a very happy life. Although their material conditions are not as good as those of the wealthy, they can definitely not be classified as poor. What's more, Fang Pingyan bought so many houses in the name of their only daughter. The rent they collected every month alone exceeded their income from working hard in the restaurant from dawn to dusk. In another room, Chen Xiuhui was doing her homework. This is the standard of a happy family. No matter what Fang Hongjian planned to do, he would not agree. As long as there is no intersection with the other party, the danger will naturally be much less. After getting up and taking a shower, he returned to his room, lay on the bed and began to read a novel. That kind of unsolved case novel. When Fang Qingyan returned to the hotel, she booked another room. She doesn't plan to go back either. At first, neither Fang Jinglei nor Fang Zhidi heard the doorbell, until Fang Qingyan started knocking on the door impatiently. "How's Mom?" When the door opened, Fang Qingyan asked in a low voice. Fang Jinglei closed the door before answering. "I slept for most of the day, and I feel much better now." "What are you going to do, sister?" Fang Qingyan said with a gloomy face. "What else can we do?" "I thought a lot along the way. Mom has been kept in the dark for more than 10 years. Fang Jinglei interrupted and said, "Qin Bailian is Dad's true love. They met in Beijing, and my parents didn't know each other at that time. After the Qin family got into trouble, Dad was probably forced by his family to marry Mom, and that's how we were born." Fang Qingyan looked incredulous. "Doesn't that mean that Dad did this on purpose?" Chapter 39. Not only you, I was also blocked. Fang Jinglei nodded and said nothing. Fang Qingyan was stunned for a moment, and suddenly gritted her teeth and said, "If Fang Hongjian knows all this, I will never let him off easily. Isn't this just bullying our mother?" She took off her coat and shoes and walked into the bedroom in her stockings. Zhao Wei has already gotten up and is drinking the tea made by Fang Zhidi. "Mom, what are you going to do?" Fang Qingyan walked into the room and asked. Zhao Wei looked up at her, put down the cup and said, "Lele, give me the report. I will stay here for one night and go back to the Magic City to find your second uncle at noon tomorrow. This matter is not just about the relationship between me and your father or Qin Bailian. This is the matter between the Fang family and the Zhao family. You should stay out of it and just do what you should do. Also, you go find Ping An and ask him to come see me tomorrow morning. Mom wants to say sorry to him. No matter what, I am the one who is sorry for him." Fang Qingyan didn't say anything, but just stepped aside to make way for Fang Jinglei. "Mom," Fang Jinglei was very embarrassed. Ping An ignored us. Although I haven't seen it with my own eyes, the eldest sister and the third sister have definitely been blocked. Now she has no idea when she will be blocked. I haven't received a reply to the text message I sent, but the phone call is indeed connected. She was about to say that Fang Pingyan might be in danger, when she saw Fang Zhidi's face full of impatience, and she said, "Why is he ignoring us? He doesn't even care about his own mother and sister. I really gave him face. I called him, and you saw how I scolded him. Do you really think that you can get away from the Fang family by not living there or something like that?" Fang Jinglei was too lazy to pay attention to her and just let her be. This third brother is really useless. In terms of character, he is not as good as the fourth brother. Mom, if this gets out, will Ping and be in danger. I mean, no matter what, Fang Hongjian is also my father's child. Zhao Wei's face changed, and she suddenly became nervous. "He dares. Whoever touches my son, I will kill him." Fang Zhidi actually called Fang Pingyan, and as expected, she was blocked. She threw her phone aside with anger on her face. Fang Qingyan sighed. "Not only you, I was also blocked. The only person who can contact him now is your second sister, and her number is the only one that has not been blocked." "Why?" Fang Zhidi wanted to say something, but Fang Jinglei raised her hand to stop her. "Based on your attitude towards him over the years, I would have blocked you if I were in his shoes. Besides, how many times have you called him in the past 4 years? Didn't you hit him and curse him that time? How did he offend you, Fang Zhidi?" Zhao Wei asked hurriedly. "Then you told him no." Fang Jinglei nodded and said, "I reminded him, but I don't know what he will do." Zhao Wei said, "Go outside and get my bag, I'll call him." Fang Qingyan obediently went to the outer room, brought in her bag and handed it to her. Zhao Wei took out her cell phone and opened the address book, but found that she didn't have Fang Ping'an's number at all. When she discovered this fact, she felt an inexplicable pain in her heart. My son, as your mother, I'm really sorry. I didn't even keep my own son's phone number, let alone remember it. The guilt and regret in her heart overwhelmed her, making it difficult for her to breathe. After panting for a while, she suppressed her tears and choked up. I don't have his number. He opened his mouth, but was unable to suppress his tears. Wow, as a mother, I feel sorry for him. I don't even have his phone number. I really deserve to die. I raised someone else's son as my own, and treated my own son as an outsider. I really deserve to die, woo-woo-woo. Zhao Wei's sudden collapse again caught her 3 daughters off guard, and they didn't know how to comfort her. Fang Jiti still believes that this is all Fang Ping'an's fault. If he hadn't returned to the Fang family, so many troublesome things would never have happened. But she was not stupid, and knew that now was not the time to say such things. If she told her, her mother might slap her in the face, and her elder sister made her even more afraid. Fang Jinglei sighed to herself. This Fang Ping'an is really pitiful. If it were me, I really don't know if I could persist for 4 years. His own mother never thought of contacting him, and never even saved his number. This is truly a tragedy and a shame for the mother and daughter. It is an even greater humiliation for the other party's safety. I don't know how he is doing now, and whether he is living comfortably in his adoptive parents' home. But I heard him eating barbecue before, so I guess he is living a much better life than he did in the Fang family in the past few years. After Zhao Wei got the number, she carefully saved Fang Ping'an's phone number and then dialed it. At this time, it was already past 9:30 in the evening. Fang Ping'an was reading a novel with great pleasure and kept envying the author's train of thought. His cell phone suddenly vibrated, which startled him. He doesn't have many contacts on his phone, mainly his family, his parents, and Huey. The number displayed on the phone is an unfamiliar caller. Could it be that Fang Hongjian changed his number? After thinking about it, he answered the phone. Ping'an, I am your mother. Woo-woo, Ping'an, I was wrong, I am sorry. Fang Ping'an didn't understand at first. Who was this person? Come up and cry. What's going on? But I immediately realized that this person was really a fucking bastard. He glanced at the number on his phone, then put it to his ear again. Ping'an, are you doing well at your adoptive parents' home? I'm sorry, I've been treating you badly all these years. It's my fault. Please forgive your mother. Please be safe, woo-woo. Fang Ping'an looked up at the door, a hint of impatience flashing in his eyes. Ms. Zhao, please tell me what you want to say. If it's an apology, I don't think it's necessary. Apart from our blood relationship, I think there is no other relationship between you and me. Please don't call me son, and don't claim to be my mother. My mother is watching TV in the living room. Her name is Liu Qing. Fang Jinglei and her 2 sisters watched as their mother's face turned pale and her lips trembled. Tears flowed freely and could not be stopped. Needless to say, Fang Ping'an must have refused. Zhao Wei was in so much pain that she couldn't control herself. Hatred. I hate myself for being blind. I hate myself for not cherishing it. But now, apart from feeling guilty, she knew there was nothing she could do. Ping'an, woo-woo, you have to be careful that Fang Hongjian doesn't harm you. He is your father's illegitimate son and has the right of inheritance. If you are gone, he can take away everything that originally belonged to you. Woo-woo, Ping'an, where are you? Mom is worried about you. Would you like to go to Shanghai with me to visit your second uncle? Your uncle will definitely ensure your safety. Will you promise, Mom? Chapter 40, I feel relieved. Fang Ping'an listened to the crying voice on the phone, and then reminded him to be careful. I was surprised for a moment. Ms. Zhao, I believe you are not alone at home now. She should be with the young ladies from the Fang family. Please turn on the speakerphone. I don't want to repeat myself over and over again. I don't want your property, no matter how valuable it is. From the moment I cut off ties with you, I am no longer a member of the Fang family. If it weren't for going to college, I would have even changed my last name. I think you understand what I said. I don't want anything from the Fang family, including the surname Fang. I can't give this body of flesh and blood back to you. If you really regard me as the heir, can I use the Fang family's future wealth to buy back my own flesh and blood? I don't want a penny from the Fang family, just treat me as a stranger. I believe that with your wealthy upbringing, you should treat a stranger better than you treat me. So please treat me as a stranger. This is what I want too. The Fang family's affairs have nothing to do with me, and I know how to protect myself. Thank you for your kindness. If you are not stupid, you should remember what I said on the day I left. Let's part ways and live our lives as strangers to each other. Goodbye. After saying that, he hung up the phone, blocked the person, and then put Fang Jinglei on the blacklist as well. Everyone in the Fang family is now on his blacklist. It feels so comfortable. I have to say, I finished it in one breath and let off some steam. To be honest, the Fang family's attitude towards strangers is much better than their attitude towards him. Please say thank you to the servants in your home, occasionally with soft words. What about yourself? He never looks happy. Although Ms. Zhao never gave a cold shoulder, the greatest injustice came from Ms. Zhao, who claimed to be a mother. Thinking about it now, Ms. Zhao must be regretting and feeling guilty. So what? I won't serve you anymore, and I won't play with you anymore. Whatever you do, I don't care. Why do you always say it's my fault? Get out of here, all of you. Get out of my world, get out of my life. Oh, I feel much better. In the previous life, Fang Hongjun had made an appointment to meet me. I won't be fooled again this time. Oh, just set it up, and don't answer any unfamiliar calls. After setting it up, he did not continue reading the novel, but started to daydream again. If you want to learn how to drive, you will inevitably have to go out. Besides, you can't guard against thieves for 1,000 days. What is coming will eventually come, so just be careful. As long as nothing happens before going to college, we will probably have to wait until Fang Hongjun graduates from college. This seemingly weak guy is definitely not a good person. As long as he doesn't return to his country, there is a high probability that nothing will happen to him. Besides, it's still unclear whether I will return to Yuncheng after graduation. Everything depends on whether Ms. Zhao and the others can resolve this matter quickly and allow that guy to go abroad as soon as possible. The sooner you leave, the safer you will be. Thinking of this, he could only bow his head and continue reading the novel. You know what? The method of committing crimes in that novel is really awesome, but it's not very suitable for the situation of myself and Fang Hongjun. But the story is really great. Fang Pingyan just lay on the bed and continued reading the novel. In the hotel, Zhao Wei burst into tears, and the three sisters of the Fang family felt extremely uncomfortable seeing this. But now everyone has been blocked, so even if Fang Jidi wants to curse anyone, she can't. Fang Pingyan is not here, who can he scold? She was really mad at him. Fang Pingyan was so annoying. Calling his mother Ms. Zhao is exactly the same as what his father said. He is such a rebellious son. He should suffer a little more. Fang Jinglei was so depressed that she wanted to cry, but she also had to comfort her heartbroken old mother. It was really frustrating. I have also been blocked, so it will not be easy to contact Fang Pingyan from now on. And she dared to bet that even if she changed her number, Fang Pingyan would continue to block her. For now, there seems to be no other choice except to go and beg for mercy. Looking at her third sister standing there helpless and furious, she couldn't help but pull her eldest sister out of the bedroom. Sister, you don't care about third sister being like this. Fang Qingyan also had a headache. She has been like this since she was a child and her parents can't control her. Do you count on me? She pointed at Fang Jidi and said, when she was at the law firm, she behaved no differently from everyone else. He is conscientious and responsible in his work, and is also very meticulous. Lawyer Gu also said that she was very suitable to be a lawyer. I can't believe that someone like this is suitable to be a lawyer. Fang Jinglei sighed and said, now I have been blocked too. Apart from visiting him in person, there is probably no other way. Fang Qingyan shook her head and said, that's not the case. Isn't he with his adoptive parents now? If you can't do his job, then do the job of his adoptive parents. But Fang Jinglei disagreed with this idea. He has already called us mom and dad, and even wants to change his last name to Fang. Fang Qingyan patted her shoulder and said, it's okay, the last name doesn't matter. Just change it back when he returns to the Fang family. It doesn't matter. The important thing is that he should be aware of his personal safety now. Both you and Mom have already reminded me of this. I don't think there will be any result if I go to his house and ask for his forgiveness now. Wait, after we solve the problem here, we can ask him to come back. It should be in time. But he's going to Beijing to study in September. Fang Jinglei was a little anxious. I checked secretly and found that he applied to the finance department of Beijing University, the same major as Fang Hongjun. Fang Qingyan nodded and said, come in, Xiaodi doesn't know how to coax people, you go and coax Mom. Crying like this all the time is bad for your health. Fang Junhong was in the car when he received a call from his eldest daughter. When he found out that all the women in the family were not in Yuncheng, he didn't think too much about it. This isn't the first time, but it's unusual for the boss to go along, too. It seems that they really attach great importance to Hongjun's coming-of-age party. This is meaningless to ordinary people, but it is very important to wealthy families. After the coming-of-age banquet, you can talk about marriage. For example, for Hongjun, if there is a suitable marriage partner, you can start to cultivate feelings. Of course, Hongjun's identity has not been made public yet. He had originally thought of announcing Hongjun's identity after he graduated from university, and then handing over the Fang family to him. As for Fang Pingyan, he felt a little uncomfortable when he thought of this name. He has never paid attention to the child's academic performance, nor has he cared about whether he is the top scorer or not. So what if you are the top scorer in the country? Does your family have enough wealth to send your child abroad for further studies? For wealthy families, the college entrance examination is completely dispensable. But it is still important to Hongjun. He needs to prove his ability. This is also one of the important bargaining chips to convince the old houses in Beijing in the future.